Continue with our Wednesday Bayou Time of the Week in Review. We'll be telling you about State Senator Butch Gautreaux and his reading of a letter on the Senate floor, a 2-page letter aimed right at Governor Bobby Jindal, making some pretty strong allegations and remarks. Well, now the public weighed in. We took phone calls on Bayou Time. Let's hear what the public had to say and what they were thinking about the letter. HTV, welcome to the program. Your comments, please.
Hello, Martin.
Yes.
I never thought I'd see it in Louisiana.
Okay.
This man here is going to tell us the way it really works, behind doors. I was against him because he voted with that other group to separate Lafourche and Terrebonne. But if he does what he's doing, what he's saying tonight, him and Joe Harrison need to get together and make a list of what's going on in that governor's mansion and what's going on in that Senate and that House, and let the people of Louisiana know what's going on. And write it down and let us know on your channel or any other channel. Don't get me wrong. I was against Butch for voting with that Northern Louisiana gang. But now I know why. If that governor travels every week over there at $25,000 of Louisiana money to go to church, and we starving down here, something's wrong. Just like these little organizations that Joe Harrison is funding, that our lottery money is going to, they need to publicize all this and let the people of Louisiana know. This lottery money was made for education, and that's where it should go, strictly education. And that's all I got to say.
Right.
And hats off to Butch Gautreaux.
All right, appreciate the call tonight.
And they need more politicians like him to bring to the public what is going on in Baton Rouge. Thank you, Martin.
Thank you. Appreciate the call. HTV, welcome to the program. Your comment tonight.
Say, Martin?
Yes.
I want to congratulate Butch Gautreaux.
Okay.
The reason why? He had enough gall and gumption to stand up. He didn't resign his position in the Senate to take another job someplace. His term limitation's up. But all of a sudden, he put the dirty laundry out where it needs to be. And you know how long this has been going on in this state, Martin? You ain't come here on a snap bean truck after midnight, brother. You know what's going on. Everybody else knows what's going on. We got the best politicians in the state and in the world that can be considered just like a puppet. You know, when you used to have the puppets on the strings. Butch Gautreaux finally had enough nerve to come up, because he can't put out these things without some truth to them. Because if he did, they would get in for libel. Am I right or wrong?
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, he just put out the facts and the fiction.
Well, now, of course, these are alleged. I got to say it as a reporter. The governor has a chance to rebut them, and they're strictly numbers that were given to me by Senator Gautreaux. But I would assume, and it's only assuming that Senator Gautreaux has researched, because he's the carrier of the news, and they do have a right to rebut it. But you're absolutely correct.
I'm not denying what you're saying. The governor, he's the governor, but you guys, he has dazzled people with brilliance and baffled them with BS for how long now?
No,
Don't tell me I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
No, I hear you loud and clear, and that's why we invite people to call up. And look, what baffles me the most about this story is, why are we breaking this in Houma and Baton Rouge and New Orleans hadn't broke this?
You was good about that? You know what's good about that? You a small town boy. So am I. You know what I'm talking about? But then and again, he didn't come out and ask for you know, the NBC, CBS, or WPFB or the WWL to carry. He came to you, and he spoke to the people that he represents down here in this area. Am I right or wrong?
You're right, and I have a feeling it's going to be picked up. It's going to get bigger.
You know what tickles me? I have nothing but due respect for Butch Gautreaux, because he finally has put the laundry out to where it needs to be in the yard.
Well, the letter certainly got my attention. It was a 2-page letter, and
I know. I looked at every word that you read. And I sit here and I looked at it. But it's something it's no fabrication of this. It's fact.
All right. Well, we appreciate your opinion. Good to hear from you again.
Take care of yourself, Martin.
All right. Take care, Mr. Roan. HTV, welcome to Bayou Time. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hi, yes, sir. Thanks.
Yeah.
Mr. Gautreaux was correct when he said this isn't a Republican or a Democrat matter. Mm-hmm. A year ago in the Gambit, they did an article with the Goodbye Gov, and it discusses how many people lost their jobs for disagreeing with Bobby Jindal.
In the Gambit?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If you Google it, the Goodbye Gov,
right,
and you'll see that on February 10th of 2010. Last year, during all the budget cuts, I have a mentally handicapped sister who they have now at this point closed all the state centers. That's a long story, but we did so much research back then, and we went to national media with the Advocate and different TV stations, but I should have stuck locally. Yeah. Because as you're breaking this with him, everything he's saying is correct. You cannot get to Bobby Jindal whatsoever. We have attempted to. There's no getting to him. And
I don't understand.
I was excited to hear that tonight.
Yeah, I don't understand. Look, and I'm not, I mean, I don't have a witch hunt against the governor. Personally, I've met the man many, many times, and I like the guy. But, you know, this is what it is. If you have a state senator feeling this strongly about the governor, I don't care if you like the governor or not. It's news, and it should be reported. This is pretty big stuff coming from a state senator. So, but it just confuses me that and I just asked Jason in the last break if not the Gambit, if the Advocate or the Picayune had anything on this, and he said no. So, I mean, look, we broke many stories here on HTV, and I'm glad to do it, but it still baffles me that this would be broken away from the capital area. I know Butch is in our area, but we're glad to break them, but it still baffles me why this did not get more press.
Well, I think he shields it. I think a lot of it gets censored, unfortunately.
You may be right. HTV, welcome to Bayou Time. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Good evening, Martin.
How you doing tonight?
Doing all right.
Good.
What you think about all that stuff with Butch Gautreaux tonight?
Well, he certainly has a right. He's been close to the governor. I mean, not close as far as a friendship, but he's been around him, and he's entitled to say what he thinks. He's a senator, so he does have the podium to say it, and he sure said it in a 2-page letter. We read it, we had him on, and now the public has a right to either defend him or defend the governor, and that's what we're doing.
Well, personally, I believe that he should have brought it up to the Ethics Committee, and you know, this governor had done a lot to reform ethics in Baton Rouge. And, of course, I question $1.2 million a year going to church, but maybe it's more than going to church, you know? Mm-hmm. Politicians have to get back with that constituency. It's nobody's business where he's conducting the state's business as governor. That's what I believe. But if Butch has a problem with the governor, and I'm sure that there are other politicians that have problems with any governor, but I think they should bring it up to the Ethics Committee. If they got something, if it's real, you know, I didn't hear anything he said that was criminal. Mm-hmm. People might question the ethics of it.
Right.
But if it's ethical, let's bring it up to the Ethics Committee and have it washed out up there.
But right now, before we go to the break, we do have some local news to report, so let's roll that in before the break.
Houma police arrest a man for allegedly sexually assaulting a woman in a wheelchair.
The Houma Police Department was called to the 7000 block of Main Street regarding a disturbance. Upon arrival, officers contacted a female victim who was confined to a wheelchair. The victim stated she was attacked by a white male subject who grabbed her by her hair and made sexual lewd comments to her, as well as tried to touch her on her private area. She further advised that the suspect then threatened to push her into oncoming traffic in the street when she refused his advances. The suspect was later located and identified as William Thibodeau, a 44-year-old white male. He was arrested on 1 count obscenity 1 count attempted sexual battery, and 1 count cruelty to the infirm. The suspect was transported to the Terrebonne Parish Criminal Justice Complex to await trial or bond.
In more news, Terrebonne Parish's long-serving clerk of court decides to retire at the end of his term after several decades in office.
After much thought and consideration and discussions with my family, we did some math looking at the age, and it was just sort of come to the conclusion that now is the time for me to say that I will not be running, and that I wanted to give time for people inside and outside of the office to have a chance to run and have time to run.
Gautreaux, who will be over 80 years old when his term expires next year, says that he has no regrets.
And it's been an honor for me to be the clerk of court for all of this time. It's going to soon be 62 years by the time the term is over with. And I simply wanted to thank the people of Terrebonne Parish for the opportunity to serve them, to help them, and they have given me the opportunity, through the confidence of their vote, to be able to stay in the office and to be of service to them and to help them. And I was able to surround myself with a very knowledgeable, caring, experienced staff who are more than adequate and more than able to help people in their questions when they come in.
All right, there you have it. Very interesting Wednesday here at HTV on Bayou Time. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the legislature closing on Thursday. And then, of course, we have more news. We have our medical segment with Terrebonne General Medical Center, and we're in the kitchen with Canadas. It's all next as the Week in Review continues.